It's Chipotle Day in Sandra's Kitchen. Hi, I'm Sandra from Sandra's Empower Wellness. I'm going to be making my famous Chipotle meatballs. I've done all the prep work because it's just going to take too much time and I don't want to bore you. So I've done the meatballs. So it's half a kilo of ground beef. Yes, ground beef. And it yielded me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 9 is 45, if I'm correct. So I have 45 meatballs. So sometimes it's between 40 and 50 meatballs, depending on the size. And of course, they're not all perfectly the same, which is fine. And they're, as you can see, bite size. Great for tapas, which is what I usually just eat them by themselves. They're great on top of quinoa, soba noodles. I just don't eat a lot of pasta because it just it adds a lot of pounds. I just gain weight very, very easily. I know people will be surprised by that, but that's why I eat a certain way, so that I try to stay as slim as I can for my age. Anyway, so those are the meatballs. I've already done the sauce, and the recipe is already up on the blog because I did it about a year ago, but I just kind of updated it because there were some things missing. There's not a lot of pictures. I just took one picture last year because I didn't know where I was going to go with it, but I think I'll add this just for people who just want to see that kind of preparation. Anyway, so now what I'm going to do is just lightly brown them and then throw them in the sauce. I'm pretty much done. So I forgot to preheat this. I should have done this before I was talking to you because I don't have a lot of stuff to do right now because I've done everything. But just to tell you a little story about these meatballs, when Daniel and I moved to Puerto Vallarta in 1997, we found this cute little place that served tapas. And I don't think I'd ever heard the word before, to be honest with you. It was, how many years ago? Well, 22 years ago. And we found this place and we just ordered a few tapas, which is what you do in those places. And one of the things we ordered was meatballs. We thought, well, let's try these Chipotle meatballs. Never heard of Chipotle before either. You know, when you're brought up in Canada and you eat meat and potatoes and your spices are salt and pepper, you don't really know much more than that unless you travel or you meet people and you go out for different types of food. And not Chinese food or anything like that. I'm talking about, you know, really spicy, like Indian food, that kind of stuff. Anyway, so we went to this place and they served these Chipotle meatballs, and the first bite that we had was like, oh my god, this is absolutely delicious. I can't believe how tasty these are. And so I asked them for the recipe, and of course they didn't want to give me the recipe, but they gave me an idea. Chipotle was the main thing, onions. I could see there was cilantro, and I've kind of changed it over the years and added my own garlic. And sometimes I chop up those little tins of, I don't think I have one here, Chipotle in adobo sauce. So I used about 2 tablespoons of that, and I put it directly into the meatballs. Sometimes I add it to the sauce later, but I decided I'm going to just load these meatballs with all the goods. So I added all the ingredients that are in the recipe: onions, cilantro, garlic, cumin, Worcestershire sauce, and sea salt. I do say you can add pepper. I didn't bother adding pepper. It doesn't need pepper, this particular recipe. Chipotle has that nice, smoky, wonderful, spicy flavor. So let's see if this is, it sounds pretty good. I'm going to use olive oil. I don't usually use that to, because it doesn't have a high cook, but I'm going to use it anyway. Okay, I don't know if you can see me. I didn't set up this camera very well. I had an accident with my phone this morning. I don't know if you can see, sorry. Does that help? I don't know if that helps. Yeah, so I was setting up, I'm actually using my tripod right now, which I should have been using probably all along, but I actually was using something that was hanging from my windowsill because that's what I could find at the time. And I took my phone out of the plastic case for the first time. I don't usually do that, but I said, well, I think it'll fit better into this thing. And then it falls on the sink and my phone cracked. The first time I've ever had my phone crack ever, out of the amount of times I've dropped it, but it was always in this protective case. Please don't take your stuff out of the protective case, it's not worth it. Anyway, okay, so let's see if we can do this. Test it out here. No, not hot enough yet. It should sizzle a little bit because you just want to brown these. You don't want to cook them because they're going to cook a little bit in the sauce, which has been simmering for already over 10 minutes because I was doing this earlier. I didn't want to have to do that on camera. So I don't think this is going to work. So I will come back to you and finish this off. Sizzle. Okay, so it's sizzling. Just gonna add those. You don't have to do them all at the same time in the pan. If you have a small pan, you don't actually have to brown them all at the same time, depending on the size. Sometimes I use 2 or 3 different sizes of pans. It depends on what's clean at the time, but although I do try to clean as I go. So you just want to do, you don't want to cramp them in too much, and because if you do, where's the paper towel? If you do cramp them in, then it's hard to turn them, and you just want to get them done properly. I'm using the same, no, I can't use the same spoon. I'm going to use just one of these because I actually loaned some of my stuff, even though I don't have a lot. I actually loaned some of my my cookware to somebody renting the little tiny home on the property, and gave them some of my dishes because I had a set of 12 and it's not like I'm entertaining anymore, or at least not at this point. So, okay, so let's get, okay, those are good. And get those turned over. I'm going to pause and be right back. So this is what they look like when they're just lightly browned, and I'm going to take them out right now. I did not know how this was going to go because this is there's a lot of steps to this particular recipe, so I'm kind of stopping and starting and seeing if I can actually edit this video, because the other videos I haven't had to edit, but this one is a little more complex, so because there's so many different steps. So I wanted to show you this. I need something because I don't want to burn myself on camera or off camera. Okay, so they're, I don't know if you can see. See, they're just slightly browned on top. And then what I do is I can transfer them directly into the simmering sauce, which I can't really show you from there. The sauce has been simmering for more than 10 minutes. Even though the blog says 10 minutes, you can make it in that short of time. But you can also let it go for a lot longer to really get those flavors going. Okay. So I think I can bring this over to you. Not that it really matters, because I'm sure you've seen meatballs in sauce before. But I'll show you what this looks like. Yum! Okay, well, you know what? I can't test one right now, so I'm going to take a little bit of a break again and wait for them to fully cook through, and then I'll taste one for you. You see they're little bubbling, sizzling in this beautiful sauce. Yum. Can't wait to try them. Yummy. I am back. Okay, so yummy. I always save a little bit of cilantro for the last part. Added flavor and added color. I'm sorry for the angle. I also wanted to give you a little tip. If you make up this much, obviously this is going to be way too much for me. It'll last me for a while. So what I do is I actually separate portions, put them in freezer bags and freeze them, and then when I want something, or I can take out 2 or 3 bags if I do happen to have people over, then you've got them for a while. So it just instead of throwing it out, or or make it for your friends, your neighbors will be the most popular person, but that's what I do anyway. So let's taste. Yum, yum, yum. The smell in here is unbelievable. Bite size, but I'm only going to take half so that I can still say yum. Oh, I actually have to have that other half. Yum, yum, yum. Provecho. Have a great day. Please cook this for your family, for your friends, for parties. So good. You won't regret it. You will love it. And I know it kind of looks complicated, but it's not. It just takes a little bit of practice, and or for those of you who already cook, it won't be very difficult. If you're new to cooking, it will take you a little bit of time, but I try to write it out as looking at it as a person who doesn't cook or hasn't cooked very much. So I try to explain each step so that it makes it easier for you, because I know when I have tried in the past to follow recipes, and then it just goes, that doesn't make any sense. Either the person has never cooked before or didn't test out the recipe the way it was written. So I'm hoping it is accurate. I really tried. It takes me about 4 to 5 hours to edit them to make sure that they're correct. So I'm hoping, I went over this again and again, and I'm hoping it's good. Anyway, take care. See you soon. Bye.